Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. You know how we're always hearing about the latest and greatest in robots? Well, today we're going way beyond your typical robot vacuum cleaner. We're diving into the world of robots that are designed to be more like companions, Robots that can actually interact with us humans on a much deeper level.
Oh yeah, definitely. And to help us navigate this fascinating world, we've got an expert in all things social robots with us today.
So get this. Today we're focusing on the work of a true pioneer in social robotics. Cynthia Breazeal. This woman is incredible. She's a professor at MIT. She founded the Personal Robots group there. And get this, she's created some truly remarkable robots. Like, we're talking robots with emotions. Well, at least robots that can understand and respond to our emotions. Where do we even begin with someone like that?
Well, to truly understand how important her work is, you kind of have to realize that she's one of the key figures who really changed the focus of robotics.
Yeah.
Instead of just building machines that, just perform tasks, she came up with this idea of robots that could communicate and collaborate and even form bonds with humans. Like, she basically pioneered this whole idea of emotional intelligence in robots.
Okay, hold on. Robots with emotions?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But seriously, what does emotional intelligence even mean when we're talking about robots?
Right. That's a great question. See, it's not that robots are literally, having feelings the same way we do. It's more about giving robots the ability to recognize and respond to human emotions. Think of it as like a two-way street, right? The robot picks up on your emotional cues and then it changes its behavior accordingly. So it makes the whole interaction feel way more natural and engaging.
Ah, so it's not about the robot feeling, but about it understanding how we feel and then, reacting to that. So Cynthia Breazeal has actually built robots that can do this.
Oh, absolutely. One of her most famous robots, Kismet. That one really showed off this concept. They built Kismet way back in the late 90s, and it had this crazy expressive face with movable eyebrows, eyelids, lips, even ears. Can you believe it? All designed to mimic human expressions.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me there's a robot out there that can raise an eyebrow, like when I hear a tall tale? That's kind of amazing and a little creepy at the same time. But how did it actually work? I mean, did Kismet actually understand what it was expressing?
Well, genuine understanding, that's a tough one. Kismet wasn't, sentient, but it had some super advanced algorithms that allowed it to perceive and respond to visual and auditory stimuli, like your tone of voice or your facial expressions. It could pick up on all that. So it wasn't actually experiencing emotions itself, but it could react in a way that was appropriate to the situation.
I gotta say, that's still pretty mind-blowing. It sounds like Kismet really laid the groundwork for all these social robots we're starting to see today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Kismet was a huge deal. It basically proved that robots could actually interact with people in a way that was totally different from anything we'd seen before. Like, it was a major step towards showing that human-robot interactions could go beyond just simple commands.
Right, so Kismet was more of a research project. But then Breazeal took it a step further, right? She wanted to bring these social robots into our homes, right? That's where Jibo comes in.
Exactly. And Jibo was one of the first social robots designed for the everyday consumer. It launched in 2014 through this crowdfunding campaign, and it was supposed to be this friendly little companion for your home.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing Jibo all over the news. It was like this cute little robot that kind of looked like a desk lamp with a personality, right? It could talk, recognize faces, set reminders, tell jokes. I mean, people were really excited about it. So what happened? Why didn't Jibo take off like, say, Alexa did? It seems like they're based on pretty similar ideas.
Yeah. Well, that's where things get a little tricky. You see, Jibo was kind of ahead of its time, in a way. It was launched way before the smart assistant market really exploded. And while Jibo had this charming personality and some really impressive facial recognition stuff, it couldn't really do as much as the voice assistants that came after.
So it wasn't enough to just be cute and friendly. People wanted their home robots to actually, be useful.
Pretty much. Jibo was this charming companion, but it was hard for it to compete with all these new devices that could control your smart home and answer any question and play music whenever you wanted. It's actually sad. Jibo's parent company ended up closing down in 2018.
Oh, that's too bad. It seemed like such a cool idea. Do you think Jibo failed because the technology wasn't quite there yet, or was it more that people just weren't ready to have robots in their homes like that?
That's a good question. It was probably a little bit of both, honestly. The technology definitely played a role, but it also depends on the timing and what people expect, right? Back then, people were just getting used to the idea of voice assistants like Alexa. I mean, a fully interactive robot might have been a bit too much too soon.
So Jibo might not have, become a huge success, but it definitely helped pave the way for the social robots we're seeing now. So what about after Jibo? Did Breazeal give up on social robots after that?
No way. She actually kept refining her vision, exploring all sorts of new uses for social robots. Two of her other projects, Nexi and Huggable, really show how her work evolved.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Tell me more about Nexi and Huggable. How do they fit into this whole social robotics story?
All right, so Nexi was a mobile robot, but it was specifically designed for research into nonverbal communication. It was like Kismet, but it could move around and interact with people in a more, dynamic way.
So Nexi wasn't meant to be a companion. It was more about figuring out how robots and humans can communicate without actually talking, right? Like through body language and facial expressions.
Exactly. Nexi gave us a ton of valuable information about how to design robots that can, convey meaning and build rapport with people without relying only on speech.
Wow, that's fascinating. And what about Huggable? That sounds like something totally different.
Huggable is really special. It's actually a robotic teddy bear.
Yeah.
And get this, it's designed for therapy.
Hold on, a robotic teddy bear for therapy? That's adorable. What kind of therapy are we talking about?
Huggable is being used to provide comfort and support, especially for kids who are going through tough times, like if they're in the hospital or dealing with a long-term illness. It's designed to be really soft and cuddly and responsive to touch.
So it's not just a toy, it's like a little furry therapy assistant.
That's a great way to put it. Huggable shows how social robots can be used to, help people with their emotional and psychological needs. It's pretty amazing.
It's incredible how Breazeal's work has changed over time. We've come a long way from Kismet's expressive face to Jibo trying to be our home buddy to Nexi and Huggable with these more, specific purposes. It seems like she's always pushing the boundaries of what's possible with robots. But where does this all lead? What's the bigger picture here?
That's a fantastic question. And actually, that's something we're going to dive into in the next part of our deep dive.
Right.
We'll be exploring how Breazeal's work has impacted the whole field of AI and how it's shaping this future where robots are more like partners than just tools in our lives.
All right, I'm ready for that. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground already, from robots with expressive faces to robotic teddy bears.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the future holds for social robotics.
Welcome back to our deep dive into social robots. It's been amazing to see how Cynthia Breazeal's work has evolved, right? From those early robots like Kismet to newer ones like Huggable, which is being used in healthcare and therapy.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder what she's aiming for. Is it just about building really cool robots, or is there like a deeper vision behind all of this?
That's a great point. Breazeal's work is so much more than just building clever machines. It's really remarkable how she's impacted the entire field of AI. She's a major force behind what we call human-centered AI.
Human-centered AI. Okay, that sounds interesting. So it's not just about AI that can, beat us at chess or write code. What exactly does that mean?
It's a whole different way of thinking about AI, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, AI research was all about making systems that could outperform humans at specific tasks. But human-centered AI, that's different. It's about designing AI that actually prioritizes human well-being and values and needs.
So instead of just trying to be smarter than us, it's more about AI that understands us and works with us.
Exactly. It's about collaboration, not competition. Human-centered AI says that AI should serve humans, not the other way around. And this whole philosophy, you could really see it in all of Breazeal's work.
I'm starting to get it. But can you give me some real-world examples? Like, how does this human-centered AI actually play out in real life?
Okay, think about healthcare. We talked about Huggable, the robot teddy bear used for therapy, but that's just one example. There are even robots being used to help with loneliness and isolation, especially for older people. Imagine a robot that can not only remind someone to take their medicine, but also keep him company and have a conversation.
That's amazing. So these robots are filling a need that goes beyond just practical things, right? They're providing emotional support, which is so important for people.
Absolutely. And it's not only companionship. They're robots being developed to assist with things like physical therapy and rehabilitation, helping people regain movement after injuries or strokes. They can tailor exercises for each patient, give them feedback, and even motivate them to keep going.
Wow, that's incredible. So robots are helping in healthcare, a field that's so focused on humans. What about education? It seems like robots could fit in there too.
You're right. Education is another big area where human-centered AI is making a difference. Think about personalized learning, a goal educators have had forever. Well, robots can actually adapt to how different people learn best, providing custom lessons and feedback. It makes education more engaging and effective.
So it's like having a personal tutor for each student. I can see how that would be super helpful for students who don't learn well in traditional classrooms.
You got it. Students with learning challenges or autism could really benefit from the focused attention and support these robots can give. And robots can also be used to teach social skills, helping kids learn how to interact with others better.
It sounds like social robots are going to change how we learn and teach. It's exciting, but also a little mind-boggling to think about what they might be able to do.
And we're just getting started. Don't forget about all the elderly people who need more care as they age. Social robots can help with daily tasks, reminding seniors about their meds, assisting them around the house, and even being a companion to combat loneliness.
It's amazing to see how Breazeal's vision of human-centered AI is happening in so many areas. But what about the future? What do you think is next for social robotics?
The future of social robots is tied to all the advances we're seeing in other types of technology. Think about natural language processing, sensors, even things like virtual and augmented reality.
You're saying social robots won't just get smarter, they'll be more integrated into our lives. That's like science fiction becoming reality.
It really is. Imagine social robots that not only understand what we say, but can read our emotions and body language with amazing accuracy.
Wow, that's a whole other level. What kind of impact would that have on our daily lives?
Think about a world where robots are just a normal part of our homes, work, even our social lives. Robots that know what we need, personalize things for us, and help us deal with this crazy, fast-changing world.
It's a future with tons of possibilities, but maybe some challenges too. We talked about ethical concerns before, but with these super advanced robots, do those concerns get bigger? How do we make sure these robots are used responsibly and ethically?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's something that researchers like Breazeal think about a lot. As this technology gets more advanced, we absolutely need to have clear rules and guidelines to make sure it's used for good.
So it's not just about the technology, but about how we as a society decide to use it.
Exactly. We need to talk openly about how social robots might change our lives, our jobs, and even our relationships.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. It seems like social robots are going to become a bigger and bigger part of our lives. It's exciting and maybe a little scary to think about all the possibilities.
Totally. And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some of the most exciting things that might happen and the challenges we'll need to tackle so that social robots really do benefit everyone.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on this awesome journey through the world of social robots, learning about Cynthia Breazeal's incredible work. We've seen how her vision of human-centered AI is shaping these robots to become more than just machines. They're becoming partners, companions, maybe even friends.
Yeah, it's been quite a trip. We started with those early experiments like Kismet and moved to the potential of huggable and therapy and the whole idea of human-centered AI. But now it's time to look forward, right? What does the future hold for these social robots?
Okay, I'm ready. What kind of crazy advancements are we talking about? Like, are we going to have flying robot butlers or AI companions that become self-aware?
Maybe not flying butlers just yet, but the progress we're seeing, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
One thing we'll probably see a lot of improvement in is sensory technology. Imagine robots that have senses that are as good as ours, or even better.
You mean robots that can see, hear, and even touch the world more accurately than we can? That opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Exactly. Think about robots that can sense tiny changes in temperature, pressure, even the chemicals around them. That could lead to robots doing things that need really delicate movements, like surgery or building really intricate things.
Wow, that's a huge difference. We've gone from robots bumping into stuff to robots doing surgery.
It's not just about the senses themselves, though. It's how robots take in that information and understand it. With all the advances in machine learning and AI, robots are getting a lot better at figuring out the world around them.
So it's not just seeing or hearing, it's actually understanding what those senses are telling them. What about movement? I imagine that's a big part of how robots interact with us and the world.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're seeing advancements in materials and the things that make robots move, which means they're becoming more agile, flexible, and a lot more lifelike in how they move. We're getting away from those stiff, jerky movements and moving toward robots that can move with grace, almost like dancers.
That's amazing. To think that robots might one day move as smoothly as we do. But communication. Will we ever have robots that really get us, not just our words, but, our intentions and feelings?
Well, natural language processing, or NLP, is one of the hottest areas in AI right now. With all these powerful language models and AI systems that can process lots of different inputs, robots are getting a lot better at understanding human language and responding to it, even with all the little nuances and complexities we throw at them.
So we're not just talking about robots that can answer simple questions or follow basic commands. Are we talking about robots that can actually hold a conversation with us, maybe even crack a joke?
You got it. Imagine talking to a robot that understands your words and also picks up on your tone of voice, your facial expressions, even your body language. It could tailor its responses to match how you're feeling, making the interaction feel truly personalized.
It's almost like talking to another person, except that person's a robot. It's cool and a little bit strange if you think about it. But technology is just one part of this, right? How do these robots actually fit into our lives? Are we talking about robot maids and chauffeurs?
Robot maids and chauffeurs might happen someday. But the real power of social robots is how they can help us do things better and make our lives richer. Think about robots as partners who help us learn new things, companions who explore with us, and assistants who help us navigate this complex world.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What could this future look like? Give me an example.
Let's say you're learning a new language. Instead of struggling with textbooks and apps, you have a social robot that uses augmented reality to create an immersive learning experience. It could project virtual characters that speak the language you're learning, or even transport you to a virtual world where you could practice your skills in a real-life setting.
Whoa, that's incredible. It's like having your own personal tutor and a study abroad trip all at once.
Right.
In healthcare, how could these advanced robots change how we take care of the sick and elderly?
Imagine a social robot that's not just there for company, but as a part of your healthcare team. It could monitor your vital signs, remind you to take meds, and even alert your doctor if something seems wrong. But it could also offer emotional support and encouragement to help you stay positive and motivated.
It's like a personal nurse and a cheerleader in one. It's amazing how far we've come from those first clunky robots. We're on the edge of a world where robots are just a normal part of our lives, helping us learn, heal, and connect in ways we never thought possible.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure. But with all this potential comes responsibility, right? We have to make sure these technologies are developed and used ethically, with human well-being at the center of it all.
So it's not just about the tech itself, but about the decisions we make as a society about how to use it. What can we do to make sure social robots are a positive force in the world?
We need to have open, honest conversations about how social robots might change things, our lives, jobs, relationships, everything. And we need to create clear rules and guidelines so we don't misuse them and make sure they benefit everyone.
This has been an amazing journey exploring the world of social robots. We've seen how far this field has come, from those first awkward steps to the incredible things that might be possible in the future.
It's a future full of possibilities. And thanks to pioneers like Cynthia Breazeal, we have a good idea of how to create a world where robots and humans can live and work together, making life better for everyone.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We hope you have a new understanding of this incredible field and how important our choices are in shaping its future. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep imagining what's possible.